contemplating writing a book, stop contemplating, do it. Instead of looking at that bus that has left the station, get on the bus, it's your time.
Hi Mitch, welcome back to the Philippines.
Thank you, good to be here.
Yes, the last time that we met, you were actually at an event. Tell us more about it.
Well, I run events, and it starts with books. Many people have an idea that they want to share with the world. The next step is speaking, because in order to showcase their book, they have to tap in their ability to communicate the value of the book to the general population. So speaking is the next step. Third step is to then attract media, because you have to be effective in front of the camera in order to broadcast instead of one-to-one, one-to-many. When I was here last time, which you were part of, it was one of my events of Speak in Manila, to showcase these speakers who had written books, then learned how to speak, and then were put in front of cameras when the lights are on and be able to showcase their skills. So I walk them through each step of the process to become the known expert in their category. And it all starts with a book.
Tell us more about your first book that really was successful worldwide.
My first published book by John Wiley & Sons, which is the largest business book publisher in the world. And I wrote this book, which is called The Silent Salesman, as you see here. And it deals with unique direct mail products, which I had an agency for in a mail house in Los Angeles, where I come from originally. And this book became a bestseller in its category. And then it was translated into German, and sold another 4,000 copies into the German market. This took about 2 years, Valerie, from the concept to then writing a book proposal, which got submitted to the publisher. They gave me $10,000 as an upfront deposit against royalties on the sales of the book. Then within 18 months, it was on the bookshelves in Barnes & Noble and Borders this is 2008 when I published this book. And this was all done by hand. And then it went to an editor, and I'm going to share the numbers because that's important what we're going to talk about today and where publishing has gone today. At this point, I spent, out of that $10,000 advance that I got from John Wiley & Sons, I spent $7,500 on a top flight editor. She went through finally, and then John Wiley & Sons edited, so we made sure everything was perfect. So this book was all about being perfect, and it took 2 years. That's the old process.
But now,
as we transition.
Yes, as we transition, we have this AI technology. How does this affect publishing?
Here's what is called a hybrid step. There's this book right here that I wrote with Dr. Candice Go, who's a client out of Singapore. She's the former managing director of Accenture Group for Southeast Asia. And she was a big shot executive here. And then what we did was combined our wisdoms. I've been the CEO of 3 companies in America, 2 of which I sold to publicly traded companies. So I've got a lot of management experience. We wrote this book together, combining the learnings and cultures of Asia, where she was an expert, and I know the North American culture very well, and they are dramatically different. And there are many similarities. We wrote about our respective wisdoms in this book. Now, how did we do that? We used a hybrid method because I teach people how to write their books effectively and quickly to get in the marketplace. We interviewed each other on Zoom, recorded it on Zoom. So we have a audiobook raw transcript, which is a product. We're going to get into the business side of publishing in a second. Then we had it transcribed, and then I handed it off to a writer, someone who works for me on staff. She wrote the actual skeletal content. Then she and I went in and edited it, meaning Candice and I went in and edited the content, and then we output this book. Well, no, we were able to put some trimmings with AI on this by writing the bibliography. We commanded ChatGPT to use the content of this book, come up with quotes for each of the chapters, come up with images, suggested images, which we then incorporated with Midjourney, which is another AI platform, and the bibliography for the book.
So Silent Salesman took 2 years. How about this one since it's hybrid?
This took about 8 to 10 weeks. We are about to publish this. It hasn't been published yet. This is part of our book launch.
Personally, how did it feel transitioning from like a traditional way to a hybrid one?
Easier, stress less, stress less. There still can be stressful to write a book, but this was stressful, stress less, and then I'm going to talk about stress-free.
Okay, tell us more about this stress-free way of publishing.
This book, which is completed, is called Building Your Personal Brand, A Guide for Entrepreneurs. I wrote this entirely with AI, and it's about 18,000 words. This book is 50,000 words to give you perspective. This book is 22,000. And this is about the same. And what has happened also is people want more concise content today. They want to read faster and feel like they've accomplished. Because they look at a book like this, they're going to be intimidated and think, oh my gosh, I'll get to it one day, but not 2 days. Whereas something that is smaller, about 15,000 words, they can consume it. This I wrote. Then I wrote a companion workbook because here's what the opportunity is with publishing today. You can make money with your books. People are under the misconception that, oh, I'm going to write a New York Times bestseller and I'm going to make loads of money. You're lucky if you sell 1,000 books by publishing and or uploading to Amazon. What has happened is people will buy based on emotion and impulse. So if they buy this book, they've scratched the early itch. There's another itch. You got to get them while they're hot. And if they've got their credit card out, it's time to surgically extract more money. So I upsell a workbook for $37. This is $20. They get a workbook to put the practice into play right away. Oh, by the way, you're going to want to buy this, the workbook companion. Oh, and just for another $10, so that's 5 twice, $10, you can get an audio book. So you can listen to this in your commute to and from work, to and from the gym, to and from wherever. You can listen to this just for another $10. That's called an order bump. Hence the business of publishing versus what is like a cart value of a book. This would have been $20. Well, we've just added $37 with the workbook. We've added $10 more with an audio version, and then there's more. There's always more, Valerie. We're always looking to sell more if you have value that is commensurate with the purchase. So then the next upsell is then we offer a video training course for $1,000. They can then go through our video training course on how to comprehensively personally brand themselves. And then it might include some live Q&As. And then that's another $1,000 added to the $120 purchase. Now, fewer people buy based on this ascension model of purchasing of the original content. But when they've got that credit card out, that's when you get them. They are emotionally high on you and what itch they just scratched buying that book. Then after the $1,000 course, the next sell is an in-person consultation, which I offer for the small fee of $25,000. They can have a day with me for another $25,000. So what was $20, which is just the book, okay, has turned into, this is 20, that's 10 turned into how much? 25,000 plus 1,000 plus.
Yeah.
Then they can join my mastermind for another 25,000 and be with other published authors, which then leads into my next book of Your Book in 48 Hours, The Art of Writing a Book in Today's Times. And then, oh, by the way, I inserted my name. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So could you do this, Valerie?
I think I could.
No, I
with
think
your
I
guidance.
I believe you can. I know you can.
So the purpose of your book, your AI books, is really talk to which segment of the country?
You might have heard the old adage, everybody has got a book inside himself or herself. This has now expedited the process and the ability to do this quickly. And here's the harsh reality. Even with the simplicity of the tools today that are available to everybody, a small fraction will do it. But the people that are on the edge and now cannot use the excuse of it takes too much time, because to write a book, 2 years, that's a college degree. Very few people go to college to finish it because it takes time and commitment. Well, the commitment can be a few hours today if you want to get through it. So it's an easier process. More people can share what their expertise is with the world.
So with AI, how does this expedite the whole process?
Well, using ChatGPT, for example, is a quick process to command the robot, because we're having a conversation with a robot, kind of like Skynet from the Terminator. You know, you have this robot that's smarter than everybody in history combined. It makes Einstein look dumb. And it will output very fast, and you command it to write 10 chapter titles based on the content of, I'm going to use you, Valerie, as an example, because you're sitting here. And there might be young ladies or young men that are recent graduates who aspire to be on camera as a host like yourself. And you'd say, if you wanted to command ChatGPT, come up with a title for a book for a young college graduate. What is the roadmap? What are the steps necessary in order to become a TV hostess in the Philippines, in Tagalog, possibly Visayan, and in English, and maybe Chinese for that segment that are in Manila? What are the steps and to address each of those cultures? So you've created some context into that conversation with the robot. Then once it outputs 10 titles that you seem to like, you pick one. Now, based on this title of the book, give me 20 easy to follow, understandable steps and chapter titles for the person to follow, with the eventual goal to get hired by a major network in the Philippines. If we're just doing it niche specific.
I'm just curious, on the ethics side, how would you define the boundaries on that? Because if you're gonna write a book created by AI, but you're gonna say authored by
Valerie Tan.
What's the ethics on that, since this is relatively new?
It's all new. We talked a little bit about that. Here's what you do. You're having a conversation with the robot. You command the robot to provide content that is copyright free. So I do not want to infringe on anybody's copyright. So only use content, provide content that is copyright free, so I can avoid any litigation.
But of course you have to disclose that it is in collaboration with AI, right?
No.
When you write a book?
No, because then there's another program you can run it through to eliminate any trace of AI.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there are different platforms. There are new ones every week. So, I could just mention one while we're here called Quillbot. It will then rephrase what output came from ChatGPT or one of the similar programs.
So overall, what is the business side of publishing?
Well, I walked you through the process a little bit. Okay, you can go with the route that I went originally and get a published book through a major New York publisher, or you have big publishers here, for example, in the Philippines. What I do, my model for this book will be to then sell them. I haven't even published it yet, but I know the model, and how I will make money with this guaranteed is by selling a workbook right when they purchase, based on a Facebook ad showing this. They will then buy the book, which I'll ship to them or digitally send to them. Shipping is better because a physical book has more tangible value. And then they will get the workbook for an upsell and the audiobook for an upsell. So the cart value, which would have been $20, automatically jumped to $67.
Yeah.
20, 37, and then another 10. So that's $67. $67 versus $20. Then I offer a course, a detailed training course for $1,000. Then I offer a consult, which very few people are going to take up but it's there. And then I would offer a workshop where you can come and be trained directly of one of 20 people. And that's $5,000 for the 2 days or 3-day workshop, where we will take your book and then walk you through the process, personally brand you, maybe throw you in with a host in Las Vegas or in Manila who will interview you about your expertise so you can then have press to add to your book website and elevate your perceived value in the marketplace and personally brand yourself. That's where it walks them through.
Of course. So some of your clients are like CEOs,
Mostly CEOs, business owners, coaches, authors, consultants. Many times they're already authors, but they are missing the other steps. And the other steps to the process are learning how to speak from the stage, learning how to sell from the stage, and then how to embrace media.
Even if you're successful in your field, there's still a lot of things that you can learn.
Yes.
With building your brand. So for those people watching us who want to level up their personal brand, how can they reach you?
Go to mitchcarson.com and you can reach out to contact, or mitch@mitchcarson.com makes it very simple.
Overall, why do you think is it important to build their personal brand, make their own book, level up their career?
Here's the big reason, because you can charge more. If you are branded fully, meaning you have been in the media, you have a book, you've been on TV, you have a podcast or been interviewed on podcasts, you've been on the radio, for your service, if you are a professional, you can charge more than the unbranded person, 100% guaranteed. Even a dentist who's a client, let's say a cosmetic dentist, the one that did my veneers, for example, yes, I have them. And that person who has been interviewed on TV can charge more than dentist X. Dentist Y, who's been interviewed, makes more money because she took the time to get branded.
So Mitch, you would say that this is for anyone and everyone?
If you are an employee and your aspiration is to stay as an employee, will a book hurt you? No, it might even give you the opportunity for a raise. But to go all the other steps to learn how to speak and to get in front of the media, possibly not necessary. It's not for anyone. It's for people who want to be the number one person in their niche or be recognized. But I think everybody has a book in them. The final steps that I've walked you through earlier, that's for a smaller group of people.
So Mitch, any other final words that you want to share to our viewers?
If you're contemplating writing a book, stop contemplating, do it. Instead of looking at that bus that has left the station, get on the bus, it's your time.
And now you can do it faster in 48 hours.
Easier, yes. And this is very true. Taught a workshop in Kuala Lumpur just 2 weeks ago on this exact topic. Had my first beta group of 12 people that did it in a weekend. It's all done.
Okay, and maybe we can talk after this.
Yes, okay.
Personally,
yes.
for my book. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Mitch.
Thank you.
Thank you.